Divock Origi question, Nat Phillips stance, Shaqiri gap and Liverpool transfer deadline day state of play. A look at how Liverpool's transfer deadline day could shape up as Jurgen Klopp. Sometimes, they say, it's the hope that kills you. But for Liverpool fans, that is about all they have as their club saunters into another transfer deadline day. So far, Ibrahima Konate stands alone as the Reds' solo piece of business and it's been over 4 months since supporters found out he would be coming to Anfield. Since Konate's confirmation was made public in late May, Liverpool have kept their powder dry. With outgoings and contract renewals taking up the bulk of the work inside the recruitment department. It is likely that will remain the case on Tuesday as the 11 p.m. deadline draws nearer. The departure of Xherdan Shaqiri allowed some to dream about an impending arrival. But that player is nowhere to be seen as trading for the summer gets set to end on Tuesday night. The Reds, in an ideal world, would steer against deadline day activity on the incoming front. And the studious and meticulous nature of how they tend to operate offers little optimism for those who believe more is needed for this squad. It is simply not in Liverpool's nature to go herring off on a madcap trolley dash around Europe on the last day of the window. Klopp is firm in his insistence that his squad can challenge for the Premier League title this term and having added Diogo Jota, Thiago Alcantara and Konate to his ranks over the last 11 months, there are plenty who believe him. However, the nagging doubts over the depth of quality up top lingers for a side who could not break down a stubborn Chelsea rearguard on Saturday afternoon, despite the Londoners playing the entirety of the second half with 10 men. Liverpool did buck the trend somewhat in January, however, with the signings of Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies to bolster the threadbare defensive options. That neither is still at the club says a lot about the chances of success for those who arrive at Anfield having not been exhaustively assessed by the club's recruitment team using months of scouting data. There is a belief inside the corridors of power at the AXA Centre that any arrival would need to be capable of playing for the side week in and week out, straight away. It's about the targets who we think are good enough, they need to be available and at a responsible price, says one source. And responsible doesn't mean cheap. We know it's not popular on social media, but we won't buy just to satisfy people's irrational lust for a transfer. Anyone we buy in midfield needs to be good enough to get in ahead of Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, Keita, Ox, Milner, Curtis and now Harvey. We would ask people demanding a midfield signing. How much do you think a player who's good enough to get in ahead of these boys costs? And how readily available are they? That is a stance Klopp echoed in his Friday press conference when quizzed again on potential arrivals before the early hours of Wednesday. He said, Curtis Jones is 20 years old, played, I don't know, 15 to 20 games last year, he can make and will make and has to make the next step. Maybe Keita obviously didn't play a full season so far exactly how he expects that or we could have expected it. But he had always really good games, big games we won where he started. Now he's started this season twice. Would he have played if Gini was still here? I don't know obviously, but maybe not. Then we have Thiago who didn't start the games, we have Hendo who played only one of the games. We have Oxlade-Chamberlain with the dynamic you cannot buy in the moment if you wanted to buy a midfielder. And probably I forgot one, Fabinho of course. So that's the situation and there is no need just to buy a midfielder because somebody is on the market. I cannot help the media, unfortunately, because obviously you are very interested. And I can sadly not help the supporters who want us to sign a player just to get somebody in and feel then, for the moment. Now we did our business as well, now we should be ready. However, if you are really with us and really think about it, you will realize there is no real need. And if the player, the one player who is really the one who could improve all the things we spoke now about, we would go for it, I promise. If we would see him. As it stands then, a new attacker or midfielder appear highly unlikely on deadline day. Things, though, can change quickly when the clock is hurtling by on the last day of the window. For example, Southampton's inquiries for Neco Williams back in January ended with them taking Takumi Minamino to the south coast instead. The mayhem that ensues, then, as the ceaseless player trading gathers late momentum means few things can be genuinely ruled out definitively. It is not the optimal way of operating from sporting director Michael Edwards' viewpoint. But while the window remains open, the glimmer of hope stays for those desperate to see new blood. Much more likely, though, are players leaving the club, with a whole host of fringe performers set for an anxious wait. Liverpool have been open to offers for Nat Phillips all summer, despite a reluctance to offload the centre-back. The defender has been told he can leave if there is a move he wishes to make. But no offers have been forthcoming for the £15 million rated centre-half so far. Neco Williams and Reece Williams are likely to be the subject of late interest. With the latter likely to depart on loan rather than spending a season with the under-23s following his top-flight exertions last term. Loris Karius, as he has been all summer, is free to find a new club and could attract loan interest from Germany before the night is out. The Reds will not stand in the goalkeeper's way. Even if they would prefer a permanent move for a player whose last appearance came in the 2018 Champions League final. Shaqiri is a player in demand with Brugge and Olympiacos both understood to be keen. At 24, the winger will not want a year spent with Barry Lutis under 23's squad and is highly likely to move on. The big questions, though, revolve around the futures of Divock Origi and Minamino. Minamino has been an unused substitute for all three Premier League games so far. While Origi has only appeared once in a match-day squad, having not registered a goal for 11 months at Anfield. It could be too late for Liverpool's resolve to be tested now if they do not believe they have other obtainable options up their sleeve. It could be too late for Liverpool's resolve to be tested now if they do not believe they have other obtainable options up their sleeve. It could be too late for Liverpool's resolve to be tested now if they do not believe they have other obtainable options up their sleeve.